we intend to do or what we would like to do, because he knows some people have already gone through it. And he told me a few things, so I'm just going to go straight to the end so you know exactly where you're going. He said to me, after you have sorted everything out and you're signed on the dotted line, he said you basically cannot get exactly what it is that's in that deed unless you become a Mason, and it's not up for discussion.
Shit.
Yeah, so this is why sometimes you hear about people who've done it and their life has changed. They're not like, mixed with the same sorts of people again. I think you have to basically, you get initiated, you have to take some vows or whatever have you to secrecy or whatever. Yeah, exactly. I figured I'd start. So I figured instead of us just talking about it, what I spoke to him about, I'm just going to go straight so that you don't go, Nick, you should have led with that first, kind of thing.
That's so logic, isn't it? Because that's swearing allegiance to the devil, basically.
Well, this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Can I just say something there for a second? Can I just say something on that? The thing about it, right, is remember that if you want to sign over, then that's fine. That's up to you. But the thing about it, who's on the other end of that? Because if you're going to make a contract with a man or a woman, that's the thing about it. There has to be somebody on the other side of that party. Now, the thing about it, if you don't consent to anything, that's fine. Because the thing about it, at the end of the day, it's like, all right, what name, again, are they talking to? And two, does this guy know about the birth notification form?
Right, I didn't see. This is the thing. This is why I want to have another meeting with him. There's things, I'm glad you even brought that up. I didn't get a chance to speak to him about that, and the type of profits and earnings that that go with actually having the account. It was basically saying, like, once you start to remove money from that account, it's not like you can take it and put it into another bank account. You can't put it into your retail account. You can't open up another account and put it. You basically have to use it. So this is why we're saying know exactly what it is that you want to do with the money before you go to the bank. Right. You've got to check out all the financial aspects of it first. Yeah.
So just holding you on that second again, it's like, okay, now, again, going back to what we all discussed already about, let's just take our time on this and think of a business idea. What you want to do.
Definitely.
And that's where I think the black card will come in, because every transaction you're doing, it has to be accounted for. So there's nothing wrong with that. If you choose to do business in that private limited company name, that's the thing. Remember, you can open that private company name, remember, and you can use them funds, because you can make a charity, for example, and have a business as a charity, and then you can fund that charity, because the money is going to come out and it's going to be accounted for anyway. So there are ways around it, you see. But because the thing about all you're doing, really, you have to the thing about it, has anybody really looked at what the Freemasons are? In a serious matter.
They're devil worshippers.
Yes, I know. I know they're devil worshippers. But
well, hang on. But instead of going on that road right now,
okay, yeah,
let's try to talk this through. My understanding of doing all of this, it's similar to the 1666 Manchester KV Act. Okay? Yeah, and in that act, one of the paragraphs is talking about that. If you are proven to be alive, then they're going to revest all the resources that's in that account to you. It doesn't say you've got to be a Freemason. It doesn't say that you'll be using it for this purpose or that purpose. So I'm just trying to think it through.
Sure,
of course, I'm not being mistaken. You know what I mean?
This is what it broke down to me, because this guy is already a millionaire, right? He says once you become a millionaire, right, and you've generated your own money, they will approach you. He's been approached twice already. But he goes, in this particular situation, They're not going to release those funds unless you sign saying, yes, I'm having the funds and that I am a Freemasonry now. That's what he's saying. Yeah. He didn't say it wasn't, it's not an option. It just goes with it. Yeah. Now, I think Fabian can understand where I'm coming from. The Freemason information is not bad. It's the people who are using it which makes it bad. Yeah.
Right. That's what I was trying to explain.
Yeah,
let's not tarnish everybody with the same brush.
Respect to you, Fabian, but at the end of the day, at the 33rd degree of the Scottish Rite and above, it is revealed that the God that they worship is the devil. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a whole nother subject and a whole nother topic.
Yes. Tony, can I just say something, Nikki? Sorry, 1 second. First of all, yeah, I'd just like to appreciate, and I'm grateful for you guys coming out and saying that, because that's a good thing to say, do you know what I mean? Which is good, and it's not going to change the conversation in any way.
No.
So I fully understand where you're coming from. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's what I'm trying to say. We are people within ourselves. The thing about it, if we choose to go down, remember, there's two sides to every story. There's the evil and there's the good. If we choose to go down the evil side, yes, we can go and worship Satan or whatever. It doesn't matter what roof it's under, because you're not going into something that really isn't, that your spirit isn't really worshipping in that certain respect. So I can understand that. Do you see? I like the Vatican, you got the black and you got the white. Do you see? So you got the good and you got the evil. So within us, we have both.
Yeah. Yes.
But sorry. I don't want to go into that. Go on. Sorry, Nikki.
So it's right. So it was basically saying that in order for you to he's saying it comes with a catch, yeah, because it's the way the government has set it up, that it's yours and you can have it, but they actually want you to fall. Yeah. This is why it's better to look into the financial aspects of it first. When you do go to the bank, you can tell the bank manager exactly what's going on in there. I know about the bonds, I know about the profits, and there's tax on that money already as well. Yeah, he said there was maybe something like 2, 3 different types, maybe 4 different types of tax issues that you have to deal with as well, pertaining to yourself, your family, and if you have children and they're individuals, and if you have a spouse as well. Yeah. They give it to you all straight away. That's it. Boom. It's yours, right? But in order for you to manage that, you've got to have your broker, your accountant, your solicitor, your administrator, and quite right. These people are here to help, but he said to me, not necessarily, because he was basically saying, due to the fact that the banks are privately owned,
yes,
they have a choice on whether they want to help you to a certain degree, and it's not always transparent. Even if you're asking for transparency, so you have to be clear. That's why it's important that you know exactly what is going on in that deed before you even go. He also went on to say that account number isn't the account number that you use to set up the account with. You get another account, yeah, plus the one that you already have, yeah. This is what I was a bit confused about. So even though that's the deed and that's the account number for the deed, when you set up your account, you get another account number, not the one that you've got, a completely different one.
Okay, can I just hold you there for a second? 1 second. Yeah. So now you see you see the same principle of what's going on with the birth certificate and the birth notification form, because your birth notification form has a case number. The birth certificate, which is the certified copy of an entry, that just has a security number.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And them security numbers changed. So this is the kind of like same principle of the same thing where he's coming from and where they're coming from with that. So you've got two sides. Even though you've got the account number, it's the same thing when I think Chris was on here and he talked about the deed poll. The thing about it, once you get that certain first number, what's allocated to you, it all relates back to that case number. This is why I'm curious about if they know, well, they should know about it. And this is where I think he's talking about the birth notification form, because the birth notification form is the original case number. That was the first number you was ever given. And that starts with the year of your birth. Like mine's 1970, for example, and then there's another 4 digits. And every other number is made off that number. So whether it goes back to what Nikki's saying there, in a certain sense, that yes, that account number, and Caroline, we discussed this the other day. We talked about the account number on the company number, and I was saying, well, it might be attached to that case number, which is the birth notification form, which is your original document before it gets sent out to the birth registrar, etc., etc. Do you see? So I think this is where I'm seeing this going, because if there's only one number to start with, where does all the other numbers must go to that one number. So if Nikki's talking about that account number, because as we know, when we go and buy the company name from Company House, we know that number is going up in incremental stages. Like if I've got 900, Nick's got 901, Fabe's got 902. Do you see what I'm saying? They go. So now, if the case number, so that can't be our account number because it's an incremental number. So that number has to be attached to a number, which I believe it will be attached to the birth notification case number. Sorry.
I think it's probably like an umbrella number.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, an umbrella number, and then you've got, your other numbers linking, proving probably that identification number, your body number or something like that.
That's why
that's where the birth notification comes in.
Yes, because that's where they need the name of the owner. Because if the name of the owner is on, and that's a differentiation between the owner and the corporation, you're splitting the two there. Now, the corporation, yes, that will be on the public side, and then the owner will be on the private side. Now, the owner must have some identification. This is why I keep saying what we've done so far blocks the gate for any contract form happening. We have to choose the contracts we wish to and choose to go into. This is what Nikki and Fabian's saying. When you're going into business, as I said from the beginning, start thinking of a business idea. You need to put that fund somewhere. If you want to go into property, go into property. If you want to go into whatever, go into whatever. But start having a clear idea on what you want to do, because it's all about you. Sorry.
That makes sense.
It's the birth notification number in my opinion anyway. That's all I can say. Because that's the most strongest document I've found and seen and heard of in a certain sense. There's nothing that can beat that. And that was the first document with that. Because remember, the hospital was the first port of call, and it was a port.
Yeah.
And if if all hospitals are charity hospitals, then basically, and they're called foundling hospitals. A foundling hospital is an orphanage.
Yeah.
So if that was the first port of call, an orphanage, that birth notification is very valuable. That's why they don't want to give it to you.
It's got to be the master file number. You're right, on the private side. Yeah. But in terms of a business idea, surely all anyone would say is that you want to purchase land and you want to purchase gold to start a private bank on that land.
There you go.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. He was saying that a lot of people, because they might find it difficult balancing up their taxations and because you once you get it, you get a limit to how much you can spend. If you go over that limit, you get in debt. You can be bought by whoever wants to, or whoever can get you out of debt, or you'll just lose everything.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to be careful about, and you have to watch it like, week to week, month to month, year to year. The reason why he says it like that, because during the first month, within those 4 or 5 weeks, you can be flexible with your numbers. But after that month is finished, you can't trouble that again. So when you go on to the next month, you just got to make sure you stay within your limit and basically move forward, but steadily. That's why he says that these people, sometimes they've set up, internet banks, you've got your loan sharks, your lenders. The reason why they're doing that is because it's easier to balance the numbers and get it right. As soon as you start going over your limit,
Yeah.
then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Nikki, did you mention about this account number that's packaged up with other account numbers?
Well, he was basically saying it's not just, you know, bonds and shares and stuff that's in there. There's other things in there that you must know about, right? He didn't really go into too much detail. Like, there's a credit and a debtor side inside there as well. You've got 4 different tax issues you've got to deal with. He was saying it's very, very difficult to work and to do this at the same time. So you have to make a decision whether you want to not work or and do this, or you want to try and balance the two together. Because he goes, what's happening to people is, all right, what happens when you get money? Yeah, especially some of us who haven't really grown up or been wealthy. If you've got money in your family, you know how to manage it. You know what to do with it. But some of us aren't coming from that background. Yeah, some of us are coming from a background where, you know, finances, you know, we've been struggling, but we've been getting by. So what happens when I dump a few million on you? You're going to upgrade, aren't you? New house, new car, I don't know, what's it called? You know, your whole state of life changes. You're not eating in anymore. You're eating out. You see what I'm saying? So when your expenditure is like that, it's like when you get a new job and you got a new salary. At first you think, yeah, I can afford everything. And then like after 2 or 3 years, you're thinking, this is not enough.
Yeah.
Now, he did say to me that you can't go over your limit, right? But some people, if you don't know yourself, can. And if that happens and you get into debt, people can buy you and then you belong to someone else, because you're trading yourself. Who's saying it? Yourself is a business. You're trading yourself. So you have to be very, very careful how you do this. It's better to have some kind of capacity behind you, like some kind of business. Or like, say, for example, if we all came together and created something, and said, you know, approached the bank with, okay, yeah, me and so, we have some form of business already that we just want to basically push it to the mainstream or get into the stock market or anything else. That is a lot easier for us to do it that way. But when you're approaching the bank and you're on yourself, you have to be very, 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 very careful about how you approach this, you know, because we ain't got no real solid backing behind us.
Is that why you said we need an accountant, a solicitor?
Yeah,
whatever? Why solicitor?
Put it this way. All right, okay, what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to do the research for us, right? He said to me, if I go on the treasury.com or .org or Fidelity and go in there and print out everything in my deed, he said to me that he will go through it with me, his solicitor and his accountant, I could have that recorded, or even maybe I can have Carl video it, so we'll have that as a record of how, and then we have a blueprint of how to do this, move forward without any real hiccups. That's basically what I want to put forward. I think he's quite willing to meet with any of us as well.
Wow.
You know, it's just that his time is a very difficult guy to get hold of. So what I do, trust me, I do use the time. You see what I'm saying?
I don't mind going to Timbuktu to meet him, to be quite honest.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I don't suppose he wants to have his face up on camera. I suppose. You know,
well, this is the thing. I'm gonna try and see if he will, you know, participate in one of our sessions, and then you can throw as many questions at him as you want, and then obviously Leslie, the chronicler, she'll have all the information and everything, so that we can, you know, go back and refer to it. And if there's anything else that we want to find out, I can, you know, you give your questions to me or whatever, and I can go and say, look, listen, we've got some people that, you know, understand to a certain degree, but we want to know how to do this or want to know how to do that, you know?
In a park or something like that. Sorry, Forbes, go.
I'm new to this meeting per se. I'm trying to understand, what are we talking about? Is it, someone mentioned 1660 something?
Sorry, you know what? I should have said to you before. What we have done is that we have all bought our names as a corporation. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, I'm Limited, and but actually, Carl, you explain it better. You'll explain why we've done that, and very briefly.
basically everything's done on contract law. Now, if you don't know that you're walking around as a corporation, they can do contracts with you, and you don't know that. Under implied rights, you're unaware of that. But once you take the contract back and you say, right, you own the corporation, what they're doing business with, then you are the one what decides how the corporation is ran.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, basically.
Once you go in, you posted, Carl, the audio that you posted was really, really useful. It's about 50 minutes, and that's going to be worth going through.
I'll forward that to you, Forbes.
I mean, that would be really useful to understand.
Definitely.
Yeah. I understand that much, but what funds are we talking about? Because you're saying going to the bank, and I'm trying to understand going to the bank for what purpose? What funds are you guys trying to access by saying going to the bank?
Okay, well, basically, from birth, you have some money allocated to you and put aside, and that's in your birth certificate, right? So, in order to get those funds, right, because normally it would be put into ledgers and put away safely. It's been recorded or whatnot, but now these days it's floating on the stock market. Like
we're talking about the SSP trust, then.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically,
so for over 30, you're talking about 300 million then US dollars per se.
Yeah.
For over 30, is that what when it goes to maturity at 830? Is that what we're talking about?
Essentially, yes. Because what's happening is that they're trading on the gold that was put aside or the money that was put aside for you, and they're using that money to do all manner of things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know who was on that chat with, and she was saying that, or I think it was a video, and she was basically saying there was 260,000 people trading alone on insider deed on the money that had been put aside for her. So you can just imagine, it's not just millions in there; it could be billions in there, right? When I spoke to the guy and he said that, do you know that you can access this at any time, even when, say for instance, it goes to a cashless society, yeah? No one's got, you have to do everything by card, yeah? Even through that, you can still access the money, but there's always a catch. They want you to fall because they set it up that way. So you have to be very, very careful when you go in there and you start to play around with stuff. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, now sorry, go on. Who's gone?
No, so basically, so once they've done that, so basically what we're trying to, as Carl said, due to common law, once you understand what's in there, what we have done is we've gone in and we've bought ourselves through that custom house, limited company and so forth. So basically, your straw man is your dead entity. Sorry.
Basically, can I just quickly say, okay?
Yeah, go.
Forbes, look at it this way: the slave ship comes in. You're standing on the podium. You're also in the crowd looking at yourself on the podium. The slave you're going to buy is you. You're going to buy yourself. Basically, you're buying the slavery document. You've just bought back the slave and taken the slave out of the system. That slave's very valuable because that slave has intellectual property ideas. And when them intellectual property ideas are coming out and you've got funders behind you, you can become a dangerous man.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why they try to limit you, or they can't stop you from setting up whatever you're setting up, whether it's like a business or a body. But they aren't going to make it easy for you, and they will track you. They will watch you once you receive the funds, if you receive the funds as well.
Does that make any sense?
It makes complete sense. But when you say you receive the funds and you can't spend the funds or transfer those funds, well, you can spend the funds, but you can't transfer it into another account.
He says that's money laundering.
Say again?
He says that's money laundering.
To transfer it into another account. So
you can't use that. No, you can't use that money to feed your retail accounts.
And that makes sense because don't forget, you see, the account we're going to get access to, it's private resources.
That's it.
Exactly.
Yeah. could be at the retail account is public funds, so you cannot convert. Sorry, we can't convert the private into public.
Private and public don't mix.
Yeah, that's right.
That makes sense.
So what
can you use it for?
Purchases, anything like a credit card. You just use that card to buy whatever you wanted to buy.
And set up a business, whatever business you want to set up. You've got loads of ideas, Forbes. So you're well away.
It must.
Can I just? Sorry, Leslie, go on.
Oh, go on, carry on.
I was just going to bring it to back what Caroline was saying earlier on about this is what I was explaining about a team with a business team. Yeah, you'll get a manager, you get a accountant, you'll get a lawyer. My question is if you're doing contracts with somebody and you're asking them for the change or whatever you want from them, the thing about it, who are you doing the contract with? Because the thing about it, there has to be a man and a man, or a man and a woman, or a woman and a woman doing that contract, because both have to be bringing something to the table. If I'm bringing my natural resources to the table, that's why this is why we were talking about the bank. Me and Caroline had this discussion the other day. You can go into every bank and leave the last bank you actually want to take up and go and invest with. Go and find out all the information from all the other banks, so you've got ammunition to go into the last bank and know how to talk to them. Mm. That's the thing about it, because you're giving them your resources to play with. They want your resources. Mm. So the only way you can get your resources is through a bank or through the Treasury itself.
Well, I think it's the Lord Chancellor that you're contracting with, because he holds the seal and he's acting as your custodian until you come.
Right. So if it's between you as a man and him as a man, or you as a woman and him as a man, then that two-party signed contract should be delivered. Plus, at the same time, still both names should be written in uppercase, lowercase, and there shouldn't be no company name, because the thing about it, as long as the legal side knows that I know legalese, I know the language they're using. It's not a language. It's a foreign language. So first of all, I'm dealing in the English language. I'm dealing with the English grammar. Do you see what I'm saying? So these are the kind of questions what has to be answered as well in a certain degree. Yeah. Because we have to know that, okay, if we're going into a legal binding something or a lawful binding something now, you see, because it takes it completely out of the legal when you're dealing with the uppercase, lowercase man or woman.
Yeah.
You're going into common law now. Now you're going onto the law of the land, because remember, you only own that company, and that company is only a ship.
Yeah.
That's why Nikki said they can come along and buy that ship if they want to.
Yeah.
If you go over or above or whatever, you get into debt. Yeah. But the thing about this is why I said to everybody, if you do it for now, just make it dormant for now. Start thinking about what we want to do. That's really important. I've been doing this for the last 5 years, as I said. I've just been thinking. Now I've got you guys. I'm grateful because I've got things and people to discuss with, and especially with information from Nikki and Fabian. Do you know what I mean? Coming forward like this as well and giving us this information as well. It's a blessing. Do you know what I mean? So that makes my knowledge even more so, a bit more clearer of what's going on the track I'm actually on. You see, because I've been thinking, right, where do I need to go with this? And if there are these funds, what Nikki's talking about and this guy's talking about, do you see, the thing about it, Caroline pointed out, is the legal side. So that's my question. Jimmy, as long as we're dealing in the English grammar, that's all I care about.
And Nikki, coming back from, you started at the end with the oath to the Masons as the last barrier. Mm-hmm. But what did he tell you about what we do once we've got the ownership of the legal name? What did he say the first step was?
Well, at first he said, don't do it. That's what he said. He said, because you have to know yourself, basically. You have to stay on top of everything yourself. Yeah. Okay, you have your broker on one side, your banker, and your admin, and maybe a solicitor, and they can advise you and tell you like where the pitfalls are, where the highs are, what you must do at a certain period of time, and they can call to see what's going on with you at any time.
If that's the worry from you guys, that's the easiest part.
That's the easiest part.
Well, it's not the worry. It's not the worry. We're just saying that basically know exactly what it is you've got in your hand before you go to the bank.
Can I just say something on top of that? Right. So what because what I was discussing with Nikki a few weeks ago is about, there's a website called IG.com, and it's a trading stock markets game. You can go on, you can play it. It's free of charge. They give you like 10 grand to play with. So go and start playing the game and start learning, because the thing about it, what Nikki's talking about here is what I've been trying to say from back then, is we're dealing with natural resources here. So if your natural resources are coming straight into the stock market, but a percentage is going to you, what are you doing with your percentage? Exactly. But at the moment, because you're the child and you don't know what's going on, and that's why they give us the birth certificate, because we don't know what's going on. They're doing all the work for us. So when we come with the adult and the name is taken out of the box and it's on the 1/4 corner document, that's when we, as I said, we have to stand up and we have to be responsible. And
you've got to administrate the estate.
Of course. But the thing about it, we've been doing that all our life, but we just haven't been doing that on that level, because we've always been doing business all our life.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's just now we have to start thinking like we are a business. And keeping the receipts, keeping the whatever. That's why I believe they'll probably give you a black card, because that's already accounted for.
This is what I'm saying. What the point I'm making is that this is what I've been doing specifically for the last 11 years. Everything that I've done is my own accounts, everything. I do everything.
So you have to.
That's my worry.
Collect all your receipts, log your takings, log your earnings. Remember, you are the ledger.
Yeah.
Your birth notification form is the ledger. You look at the document, it's a ledger. So that means you are the ledger. You have a negative side to you. You have a positive side to you. That's why it's called currency. That's why I'm so much into the astrology stuff, because it's all about frequencies. And we are just frequency. We're electricity, we're frequency, we're energy, we're currency. This is that's why they call it after the bloody money. The money's called currency, because it's us who create it.
Sure.
But anyway, I don't want to go off with that. Sorry, Nick.
No, it's all right. It's okay. It's okay. You also went on to say that it has a limit, whereas from birth to up into a certain age, all what's in the deed covers up to that. After that period, you're not able to, you won't receive anything. They limit it that way so that they can watch you and keep track of you and basically make sure you're not doing anything that would jeopardize what they're doing. That's the reason why they say, yeah, boom, you're a Mason once you've signed. Has anybody got any questions?
No, the thing about it, I mean, like, with the funds itself, the thing about it, what we've got to take into consideration, we'll get back to the Freemasonry side in a minute, but what we've got to take into consideration is that if you're running a business, as I said, when you go onto .gov website and you see how business is put together and this and that and what is exempt, remember, remember, at the end of the day, you can sit on your ass all day long just thinking of ideas. That's it. And you can be paid as a director to do that.
Yeah.
So while you're getting paid as a director to do that, you can put your earnings into, because you're getting paid. That's your money now as a director. And plus, also as well, my question on top of that is, what currency are we dealing with? Are we dealing with the fiat currency? Is that why we have to have a contract with the Rothschilds? Or are we dealing with the Queen, which is the natural resources, which was granted to her by God to say that she has to distribute that between the people who come forward?
Good question. I'll have to put that to him when I see him next.
You see?
Yeah.
Because remember, there's two sides of it, man.
Yeah. Sorry, Fabian, was you going to say something?
No, I just speaking of what Carl just said. Because the Bank of England is thinking of going into digital currency now, so I don't know how that.
But this is the thing. The Bank of England belongs to the Rothschilds.
Yeah.
Remember, as we spoke about earlier, somebody mentioned Scotland. Remember, the bank came down from Scotland. It's the Royal Bank of Scotland. King James I of England was King James VI of Scotland, and he brought the kingship down into England. So the Royal Bank of Scotland, it doesn't have the Royal Bank of England. It has the Royal Bank of Scotland. That's why the Queen banks with them. So that's the thing about it. It's like, yes, if it's the currency, because remember, England has its own currency as well. The Rothschilds came in and substituted it with their currency. United States of America has their currency, but the Rothschilds came in, or whoever the money people over there, well, it's the same bloody people, came in and used their fiat currency. So the England must have its own currency in some vault somewhere. Why do you think Gordon Brown gave away the gold? That was years ago. Gordon Brown gave away the gold years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, man. Whose was that?
That's sold it out to the European Union.
You need to bring that back, man.
Oh, yeah.
You need to bring that back, because that's England. That's the Kingdom of England's money. That's what money is. Remember, money is coinage. It's not paper. It's coinage. Yeah, that states that in the legal dictionary. In their own dictionary, it states it. Yeah. So it's not me making it up. It's them telling me what money is.
Silver.
There you go. There you go. And coinage is made out of money, metal.
Yeah.
It's coinage. Money is coinage. So that's why Gaddafi wanted to turn the currency into a gold state currency and use gold.
And that's what
they killed him for it, isn't it?
That's it, because he
would have broke him.
He was taking the power away. He was taking the power away from the fiat currency.
That's right. Wasn't that gold coin supposed to be like for Africa as a whole? Everywhere.
That would basically he wanted. It wasn't really about the coinage. It was really about he wanted America to pay him in gold.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he didn't want the fiat currency. He wanted them to pay the gold for the oil or whatever. But they didn't want to pay the gold. They didn't want to pay in proper money.
Yeah.
He wanted them to pay in proper money.
Yeah, that's why they say that there are more American dollars.
That's what I'm saying. It's what side of the fence are we dealing with here? Are we dealing with, okay, we're going to go into something where we're going to use the money of the fiat currency, or we're going to go in and use the money of the currency of the Queen of England has?
Yeah, but it's all just bookkeeping at the end of the day.
That's all it is. That's all it is. As long as you're balancing the account, as what Nikki said.
Yeah. And not adding to the debt by using public funds. That's the thing, isn't it? Because as soon as you dabble in the public money, the fiat, you're actually increasing the debt.
This is it. And the Queen don't want that. The Queen wants us to cancel that out and spend the English money so it comes out of the debt.
Yeah.
And as you said, there's probably trillions and trillions and trillions there.
Oh,
you see? But again, it's that same thing. Now it comes back down to the conversation of war, for example, because if these people have been running around and doing these evil things to other people, if these people get this information and know that they can tap into whatever resources or whatever, what kind of war will they want to start just to get back because of the grievances?
Yeah.
This is where they have to be very careful. And that's them, that's not us, because we're just standing on this side of the fence trying to defend ourselves. Now we can defend ourselves. What? They're getting scared.
That's probably what's going on.
That's the question. They're getting scared because they know that people are waking up. It goes back to my analogy about the virus. There's a virus going around where people are buying up the crown. That might be scaring them.
Yeah.
Because they know if 100 people are private people and they're on the outside of their fences, then they can easily come together and create a common law court, which is standable. Because it's private people on the land what creates that court. It's not their fictitious, artificial legal persons on the sea, like a lot of them are out there creating their courts and going getting a notary or whatever to sign it off for them. This goes deeper.
But it still strikes me as really important to get ourselves out of being in custody of the custodian trustee, which is the Lord Chancellor.
Certainly. Now you're dealing with a higher force, as kind of like what Nikki's explaining. You're stepping up a level because you're dealing with different crowds of people now.
Exactly.
But, you know, we'd need to know our QSIP numbers to be able to actually look intelligently on...
But the thing about it, again, that QSIP number will only probably refer back to your case number, what's on your birth notification form, because that's the first port of call.
Yeah.
They don't want you to know about the birth notification form. Again, as I said, I've tried for 5 years. I've even got Catherine West, the Labour MP, writing letters on my behalf to the hospital to ask me, and they still won't give me.
And they're trying to get you into contract by making a complaint, aren't they?
There you go.
Yeah. So she can't be trusted.
This is it.
But we know, Caroline and I know somebody that has managed to get their QSIP number, and they went to a broker to do it. Now, admittedly, this chap, he's got the freedom of the City of London due to his parentage.
You've got to be very careful just going to a broker, you know.
Yeah,
you can't just pick anybody. You can't just pick anybody. They'll run off with your money, man, put you in jail.
Yeah, man.
So,
what?
Yeah.
Listen, when the broker sees what's in there, he's going to say, yeah, I can help you, I can do this, I can do this. Palm off some money so he can do whatever he wants to do, yeah, right? And then basically let you do what you have to do, spend, and he'll tell you what you need to know, and you think you're doing okay. And then when he's got his money, he's going to split. You don't know what's going on. Before you know it, all you have is gone. So, you know, you've got to be careful.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Don't do it. Just be careful.
That's what I'm saying to you. If you want to know about, go on IG.com, download the little game, and then log into that little game or whatever and start learning how to know about the shares and stock market yourself.
Right.
Even if you put something in, like, I mean, like you got something like the FTSE 50 or the 100 and things like that. So they're all the top companies in the world, like 50 top companies in the world. If you ain't making a certain amount of money, you're getting kicked off that list. And then the next person's coming in who's making that money. So you can invest into them kind of like share markets.
You mean IG index?
Yeah, IG, yeah.
But why would you want to use something like that? Why not just invest in land or property or gold?
But that's it. But that's still going to be owned by somebody.
What do you mean?
So if land, for example, you might want to buy the shares in the land. But the thing about it, this is what I'm saying about the birth notification form, because if we're granted, and that's a sealed instrument.
Explain.
Well, when you get your title deed, it's a sealed instrument.
Yeah.
So what is actually in there to start with?
That's why you got to know what's in there before you even think about it.
This is it.
You know, you can't be.
So my thing to Caroline earlier on as well, I said to her, well, basically, the only way we can find out what's in there to a certain degree is when you go back to the birth registrar now, you ask them, because remember, as Leslie stated earlier on as well, everything has to be accounted for. And you said that, Nick, everything has to be accounted for. So if everything has to be accounted for, if I go to the birth registrar and say to them, okay, I want a log of all the different security instruments, what was made with my name on it. That would give me a complete log of where all my resources are coming from or going.
Sorry, say that again?
Basically, your birth certificate.
Yeah.
Anything you do, they will get a copy of your birth certificate. If you go to court, for example, if you get a traffic stop or whatever, and you have to go to court, they can order a birth certificate and take funds out of that account, of that security document.
Yeah.
Right. Now, if you go back to the birth registrar, which is your name, and you ask them for a log and an account of how many different security birth certificates have gone out in your name, they should have account of that.
Yeah.
So that's where all them security numbers will match up, and that will be all you wherever your resources are going.
Oh no, that's debits, so isn't it? I mean, that's not credits to the account. That's debits from the account.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if they're taking things out of that account.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So you can get a log of all the security numbers, what's been sent out. Because if you go to court, for example, you're going to give them your name, your address, your date of birth. That's all they need. to go to the birth registrar and order one of your birth certificates. Because I can go on, if I knew the information of you guys, I could easily go on to go down to the council and go to the birth registrar and order one of your birth certificates. That's the thing about it. If I've got your pieces of information, that's what they do. They ask for your 3 bits of information so they can get one of your birth certificates. So if you get taken to court, they can throw the book at you at court, charge you something like £150 or whatever. You pay that fee, which is probably just their administration cost. And then what they do with that birth certificate they've got, they'll go into that security instrument and then take out like $5,000.
But they'll probably use it's not in the public interest to prevent that information.
I know. But the thing about it, at least you've got a log of that security number of where it went. So if the court did order that birth certificate, then you know that security number went to the birth certificate because the birth registrar has made an account of it. So you need an account list of all the numbers, what's gone out.
I mean, I had a court case where I tracked on fidelity.com and married up the case reference number with the date that the bond was issued, and it married up exactly with the 2 hearings in this case. So I knew, and I could show that bonds were raised, but they weren't raised in my name. It was done by the court or by the judge. But the point
and this is money not declared by the judge or the administrator at the time, isn't it?
This is it, because business is what's doing it to you. Because remember, you're born into the world being a corporation. So from birth, you've been operating as a corporation and we don't even know that. Yeah. But they've been doing business with us from then. So everything we've done within our life, we've been doing business, but we don't know that we've been doing business. If we knew that we was doing business when the time we came out of our mothers, it'd be a different story.
Right.
Because we'll have everything on lockdown and we know that we ain't going to do this and we ain't going to get ourselves into debt, or we ain't going to do this, or we ain't going to do that.
Yeah.
You know, we'll have the funds there, like they had the funds there to start with, to say, right, we've got an easy set off for life.
Yeah, but they don't want you to have that.
Of course they don't, because it's greed.
Yeah, of course. Greed, corruption.
There you go.
And that's how they make their money, through misery.
This is
it.
If
there's peace, they ain't making no money.
That's what I'm saying.
But the point is,
so they have to kind of maintain the illusion in order for them to do what they want to do. And the thing is, now that people are buying themselves up, we're just shattering that illusion now.
Of course.
Yeah, but does it close the circle? That's the point. I mean,
it will close the circle. It will close the circle, because the thing about it, there's nobody they can take from. Their businesses crashes. Because if everybody woke up and bought themselves, nobody will go to work. So who's going to manage that? Who's going to go and work for them? That's their fear, because they've got debts. So now if they've got debts and their debts start going down, people can buy them out. That's what they're worried about.
And they get the debt from us.
There you go. So they owe us in the first place. Now, if we take ourselves away, then they don't have, they can't take anything off us. They probably take it from everybody else. But if everybody else starts waking up and doing that for themselves and making themselves private, then who's going to go and work for them?
This is why they have to maintain a certain amount of control to a degree.
But that's the thing about it. That's not our problem. The problem is, if they created in the first place, sorry, they dig their own hole. Whoever done it, dug their own hole.
But if we can get access to our private funds, then surely they can as well. So when you keep saying they can obviously get access to their private resources.
Well, they already do. They already do, because they know the route. We know this. I've seen black cards used up London in shops. I've been behind people at tills that have flashed this card that don't look like anything us have got.
See.
No?
Totally.
Fabian, do you want to let us hear some of that recording? Is that possible? Sorry, not Fabian. Sorry, Mike. Sorry.
Sorry?
No, it's not Mike.
Nick.
Sorry.
So say again?
Can we hear some of the recording, Nick?
I don't know. How would I do that? I
just play
it.
Yeah.
I play it. Hold on.
Sorry, Forbes. This is a recording of somebody who knows people who have got their trusts from, basically, and
right. he knew some people who actually, what happened is that he knew a guy who actually, he got it, he looked into it, but he didn't look into it enough, and he basically nearly lost everything. I don't know, let me see if I can.
So we're gonna.
It won't allow me to play it while I'm in the Zoom.
Okay, cool.
Oh, that'd be right, wouldn't it? You haven't got it on your phone. You didn't play. You didn't. Oh, you're on your phone now.
Yeah.
You did.
Computer.
Hold on.
So he received it or he didn't receive it?
What, the recording?
No, the money.
Yeah, he did receive it. He basically what he did, and he had his accountants and whatnot, but he overspent. That's what the issue was with that. He overspent, and he had to go to court, and he lost everything. I think it was the banks or the government or whatever took everything, and he nearly went to jail. But he managed to dig himself out of a hole, and start again. Now I don't know whether if you haven't got it right the first time and you go in there, and it's going to be difficult trying to do it again, basically. You know what I mean?
When he said that he overspent, how much do you get per year? Something like £5,000 or what? How can you overspend? Someone in our position right now, if someone gave me £1 million a year to spend.
All right. It didn't happen straight away. It was over a period of time.
Accumulation.
When his taste became more expensive.
This is
he was more lavish. He bought more. He invested more, and the
ego and materialistic world stuck in.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, you've got to know yourself. If you're happy, then having money ain't going to change that. If you're unhappy, it might make you smile a bit, but it still ain't going to change anything. You have to know yourself. You have to be happy with yourself.
Of course.
Money is nothing, really, if you think about it.
No.
You have to figure
your
yourself
energy.
you have to figure yourself as the resource, because that's what you are.
That's it.
But I do know that people who win the lottery, but within a couple of years, they've gone bust.
That's it.
Exactly. Look,
that would never happen to me.
Okay, it might not happen to you, but a lot of people, they got bad management. If you know what I'm saying, and they'll have family and whatnot behind a bit, scrounging and asking for stuff, and okay, how do you put a lockdown on that as well? You want to help everybody, don't you? Yeah, and rightly so. You've got the ability, so why not help them? But you have to watch your expenditure and your taxation, all those kinds of things. Like, say for instance, right? You get £1 million, yeah, it's all good, yeah. How long do you think it would take before that money is not enough? And this is the point he was trying to make.
Yeah, of course.
Even though there's a lot of money
as I said, you have to be responsible and liable for every action you take.
Yes, exactly. Because you can be bought if you get into debt.
It's business.
I don't know how much I would have to spend to get into debt.
Exactly, Caroline.
I'm not. Listen,
I'm hearing all this. I'm not.
But when you think about it, if you can't take the money and put it in a bank and store it, and you have to use it, you are gonna, what's it called? You just have to work out how much you can spend from year to year without going crazy. Yeah, that's all you got to do. If you cut it down to half, what you spend in a year comes to about 6 months worth. You're good. But as I said, after a period of time, it could have been 10 years, it could have been 20 years. You see what I'm saying? You have to be careful about how you spend. I mean, you look in there and you think, wow, boy, I'm never going to spend over that. But you don't know at the end of the day. You could fall and trip.
Of course.
You could fall and trip easy. Yeah.
Just being responsible. Responsible to management, organization. These are the things we have to put into play. If we're not used to it, we don't know what I'm doing, to be honest. Sorry, Mike.
But for me, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. I know exactly how much I've got in the bank. I'm not going to spend. It's as simple as that.
With a better car, that's all. With a better. What you do with a better car? With a nicer house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also, my question is that do they want us to buy into their businesses when we have our business? That's the thing. Because, for example, if you go and buy a house, is that house under a allodial title, for example?
No.
And is it free from fealty, feudalism, Do you see?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I have to bring you in a minute.
These are the kind of questions, in a certain sense, that I'm saying, well, hold up a minute. If I'm born onto the earth and I have everything like everybody else, we're all equal here. That's the trouble, because it's greed, and it's those thinking that they own the earth and its power. Do you see?
Exactly.
They've got so much power, or they've got so much greed, as you've just explained, Nick. If they go over, or as you see, if they keep spending and spending and they get used to that lavish lifestyle, this is how they can turn out to be. But we know
we're not doing it for that, are we? I mean, that's
not at all. Not at all. But I'm just saying, what Nick's explaining, we can already see an example of that with those up there already.
Human nature. Human nature.
The example that he gave me was, I don't know, you hear about that guy who went, how much did he win? 175 million euros? Something like that? Yeah, so what happened there, right? His life just mashed up. Why? Because he stopped work. He gave half to his wife. Yeah, the wife gave, they've got 2 kids. The wife gave 20 million to one and 20 million to the other. He did the same. Yeah.
Too much.
He went and bought another house. She gave the family house to the daughter. Yeah. Then what happened is she ended up hitting the gardener. He went and he ended up hitting some woman at a bar. Yeah, they get divorced. She takes half. Yeah. Then what's happened to her with all what's gone on? She's basically in her house just drinking, doing nothing. Yeah, so she's probably gonna kill herself. He's gone on. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? His life has gone down the chute. We don't know what's gonna happen to him. So things can change, drastically overnight when you're dealing with money if you don't understand it.
Know yourself, man. Know yourself.
Absolutely.
Know yourself, man. That's all it
comes down to. It just goes to show that it's not money really. It's who's handling it which makes all the difference.
Yes.
They say the money is the root of all evil. What about the evil in you?
Yes. And that's what I was explaining earlier. We all have a good and an evil side to us. It's depend on what path we choose.
Sorry, can I ask something? Carl, you've always mentioned about all we need was the company registration document. Mm-hmm. And that's what we hand to the bank with our business plan, blah, 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 blah. And Leslie, you mentioned about the QSIP number. I know we mentioned about QSIP from previous Zoom meetings, but why do we need the QSIP number?
Well, because we've been told, Carolyn and me, that we need to be able to reclaim your standing, you need to prove the fraud in the legal system of what they've done in trading on you. And the only way you can prove that is by having the QSIP number of your own bond that will then track through and prove that you are being traded. Otherwise, it's just some folklore that's bandied around with no evidence behind it.
And can I just add to that as well? The thing about it, what Leslie's saying about this QSIP number, right, me and Caroline had a conversation the other day about just certain things that she had been going through at the moment. Now, when she looked on the website, she saw the word anonymous, but she was using the word delete or remove, or do you see what I'm saying? So now we've got the language. So it's about the language as well. So so even though they call it a QSIP number, we don't know if that name has been changed from the case number of the birth notification form to the QSIP number, because the QSIP number could be the case number of the birth notification form, but they're not going to turn around and say it's a case number because they want to hide it. Because if you know it's a case number, it belongs to a certain document, and the document what I know about is the birth notification form. So whether they're changing the wording again, like they usually,
you think it's one of the same, Carl?
I think it's one of the same, to tell the truth.
It's just like they keep on telling us about the live born record, and we know there is no live born record. It's actually called the birth notification form here in the UK. In the US, it's called the live born record.
The certificate of live birth.
Yeah.
So it's the COLB, they call it over there.
No.
So that's the problem I had back then. I was looking for that document. And then I was thinking to myself, no, but it's the wrong jurisdiction. That's why I started looking for the hospital records this side of the fence. And it's a completely different name. So no disrespect to any of those guys out there who's doing the talks, because I appreciate and I'm grateful for the talks I listen to of them guys, because it brought me to here.
Yeah, but you're the only one that talks about this.
Yeah, but the thing about it, I can't regurgitate somebody else's material, which is for their territory, their jurisdiction, and their country. I have to find my own stuff in my own country. Now I've got this. I'm happy to say this, and I'm happy for people to tell everybody else and regurgitate this. That's brilliant, because the more and more we know about this, the more, and it gets out there, the more and more it's going to come down. I think like they say, you know 6 people.
Yeah.
If that person knows 6 people and that person told 6 people, the whole world will know in a couple of whatever.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks, maybe.
This is it. So if everybody's doing that and they're going asking at the hospital, for example, the birth notification form, how long is it going to be before they actually have to give in to it?
Mm.
Because somebody at a certain level might want to take it to the newspaper. Remember, I'm a documentary filmmaker. I've got all this stuff on paperwork and everything. I make a good documentary about this, man.
Mm.
That's the thing. But at the same time, still, it's like we need to take responsibility and liability for ourselves.
Yeah.
So again, it's like what we were saying to Caroline. Caroline, what Nikki was just saying there, the same thing came to my head, was like, yeah, man, if I had £1 million, I'd go buy a yacht. You know where I'm coming from with that one.
Yeah. Exactly.
But this is what I'm saying. It's just being responsible and liability with the funds we do and may have.
Yeah.
And that's I think none of us here would actually go and be stupid, basically.
Yes. We're too long in the tooth for that.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
So it's a blessing for the information, definitely. But
I'm
now
worried about this Mason thing, though. To be honest, let me be honest. Because you always hear the negative side of it, but then you guys are the positive elements, right? So, how do you become a Mason and be good?
You can't, because that whole entity of the Masonic entity, whether or not the lower degrees know about the full of it is about an entity at the end of the day that you don't want to be party to.
it's Moloch. Moloch.
Yeah, but coming from my holographic kinetics point of view, there's no way that you can take an oath to any entity and escape the influence of that fact. I mean, all respect to you, and I get where you're coming from. There's a lot of good Masons, do a lot of good work, but they're not at the level that knows the full of it. And you're being tricked at every level to swearing allegiance to something that if you knew the full of it, you would not want to get party to. And that really troubles me if that's how they've set it up, because I couldn't participate in that. No way. Personal view. And I'm respecting you wholly, because I get where you're coming from. There's a lot of good Masons. My uncle's one, don't get me wrong. But all I know is what I've gone down that rabbit hole and seen what people that have come out of the Masons, when they finally realised what they're swearing allegiance to. There's that Dutch banker guy, I forget his name, but you must have seen his stuff.
Well, it depends on what you know, basically. It depends on where you're coming from as a spiritual entity. Totally. It depends on Carl just mentioned Moloch. I mean, that's one line.
Of course.
If you want to go down that particular line, then it's not...
Universal law states, he who enters the game of another is subject to the rules of that game. Full stop.
Yeah. As I said, until you're... Look, I could only say so much, but until you actually are involved...
Yeah.
Until you know for example, you say you're subject to the rules of that game, fair enough, but you have your path, right?
Yeah.
As an individual, you have your path. Yeah. I'm not talking about inside an institutional body. I'm just talking about you in general.
Your free will.
Yeah, you have your path.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if you know your path, I don't understand why you feel everybody should be tarnished with the same brush.
It's not about that. It's what set the game up. Who controls the game?
Okay, where did Freemasonry come from?
Egypt.
Right.
And beyond.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So how Freemasonry is run on a Eurocentric point of view is totally different. For example, from Egypt, you were only given 9 levels. I mean, I'm talking about from a Eurocentric point of view. They're only given 9 levels. They've turned it into 33 levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those 33 levels don't exist, Leslie. Those 33 levels don't exist. They got bored, basically, and they decided, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Eurocentric Freemasonry is, as you say, could be a very satanic thing.
Okay.
That's right, because there are greater orders than just the Freemasonry.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Freemasonry isn't even considered to be in there, only to people who don't actually know. I mean, they don't really know anything.
You've got to really know what's going on. But when you say you get to 33 and blah, 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 that's as far as they go in the Eurocentric Freemasonry. They got what little information they got from ancient Egypt, and they didn't get everything.
Right.
You have to remember that they didn't get everything.
So when they raided the the Library of Alexandria, they took what they knew, what they could understand, and they burnt the rest. There was thousands of different.
There was so much more, absolutely so much more. So, as I said, they got bored. They turned the 9 degrees into 33 degrees. That's all they know. What is the highest number that you know, Leslie?
Well, I've heard there's more than 33 that they've taken.
No. I mean, and as far as we know now, okay, what is the highest number that you know?
Infinity plus 1.
No. The highest number that you know is the number 9. You can't go over 9.
You're right.
You repeat. You go back and repeat.
That's why numerology is so
number
important.
10 becomes a compound number. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Numerology is so important.
There's so much more to it, Leslie, than you actually perceive.
Why do you think I keep talking about the astrology, the numerology, the chemistry, the frequencies? All of these are different pathways.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the question, though. But you mentioned oath of allegiance to the Freemasons before. What does that oath of allegiance, in a sense, entail? If we're going back
to our way of life.
Yes.
Who's that speaking? Sorry, I didn't catch.
Michael. It's Michael.
Hi, Michael. We're going back to our way of life. So we're going back to a spiritual path that takes us back to our ancestry, to our spiritual guidance. It's totally different. It's totally different.
You have to walk your path.
Exactly. You have a path. You're walking your path. That path doesn't necessarily say you come under this.
Yes.
One of the points I'm saying
Scottish Rite Order or York Rite Order.
Yeah, but what takes priority? The brotherhood. No, the thing I'm asking, what takes priority? Is it the brotherhood or is it your belief? Because my understanding was it's a brotherhood that's priority. So once you swear your oath of allegiance to the Freemasons, then it's the brotherhood that takes priority over everything, even your own family.
I think that's the Brotherhood of the Bell, which is one of the arms of it.
He's talking about the obligation you have as a brother.
Yes.
If they ask you to do something moral or unethical or whatever, you're saying once you're in, you're in. There's no backing out kind of thing. But that's not how Freemasonry works. You're supposed to live for and by your brother. You know, it's not about you know doing anything that's negative to you or anyone else. It's about You're saying
again? They've twisted it. They've subverted it.
They've done a lot of things, Leslie. Yes, they've done a lot of things, and it's taken it completely.
It's the same thing like the Bible.
Yeah,
they've taken a lot of things out of the Bible, which we don't know about.
A lot. I don't want to deviate from what we're doing because really, this is what we're doing is trying to focus on our knowledge and understanding of our methodology, processes of what we're trying to do. So I don't want to deviate from that. But going on what Carl said, I'll give you an example. He's dead now. He's a very, very good friend of the family. But anyway, he managed to get a book of Barnabas.
Yes.
And don't ask me how he managed to get it, but he did. And he didn't return it. And I think he got it from the British Library. I don't know. It's very sketchy, and I can't remember the whole conversation now. But he managed to get it, and he didn't return it. And the Book of Barnabas is one of those books where you don't find it in your normal King James's version and what have you. And it has a lot of information in there. And I remember he told me he was approached by the police that was inquiring about that book.
Wow.
But like I said, it's a book that has a lot of the information that's not written in your normal stuff. Yeah. I can't remember what he did. I can't remember how he palmed off the police, and I can't remember the outcome. But
yeah, I know, because the Book of Barnabas, what it does is it kind of like contradicts some of the stuff that's been said. Because remember, when the Nicene Council was putting this together, they said, yeah, we'll put this in, we've dragged it in, and we'll give you this Jesus. What they did, right, really was characterization. And they gave you this, and they chose this, and they said, yep, those are the books, boom. But if you go to places like Ethiopia and different parts of Africa and Asia, they've got other Bibles there with a whole heap of them, 100-something books in there.
Yeah.
You know? They've just given us like a really watered down version. I mean, why would they give you something that's supposed to work?
It's an easier form of control.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time. Yeah.
But not deviating, but going back to this now. So, I know you've already gone into the QSIP thing and everything already, Carl and Leslie and Caroline maybe, but it says that in order to, and I know we've talked about what is it, fidelity before.
Yeah.
And it says that basically, in order to get this information, you either have to sign up, so you're paying a fee, some kind of registration fee. But there are ways and means of you obtaining this number without paying this fee. Yeah. And was that what you were trying to do?
Oh, just saying that somebody went to a stockbroker, and that stockbroker looked up the QSIP number for his bond, his personal bond.
Right. But even if they look it up, can they do anything with it or not?
They just gave him the number, and that then gave him the evidence to go to government and set out the evidence he had for him being traded and called it out.
So, Carl, based on what just Leslie said, and because I know you mentioned about Romney Stewart, I think you said the other day.
That's right.
And I didn't know much about this particular person, but somebody sent me a video. I should have looked it up but anyway, somebody sent me a video. Now, no, it wasn't Romney Stewart. It was. I don't know if it was you, Leslie, or you, Caroline, or was it? What's her name? Is it Fatima?
Fatima.
Probably Fatima.
Yeah. Sent a video in of one particular guy, and he was saying you've got to get your paperwork straight. Do you know what the video I'm talking about?
Talk about the Scottish guy.
Yeah, look, he sounded Scottish, or more. Yeah, I think he sounded Scottish, and he was saying that the information that on the video, the information that he had, he's not going to give it away so easily. He's giving out crumbs, and it's those that can work out what he's giving out those that can work out what he was trying to give are the ones that are going to succeed in getting their paperwork in order, so to speak.
That's from Leslie, I think. It was yours, Leslie. The New Zealander or the...
Was he New Zealand?
Canadian chap.
Yeah, well, he has an accent. He was Canadian. I thought he was Scottish, to be honest, but
I'm sure he was Scottish.
Yeah, he sounded Scottish. But he was saying something about get your paper in order. So what was he trying to say? What was his end game? Was it to take himself out of the system and so-called walk as a freeman or living in common law, blah, 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 or was he trying to do what we're trying to do, which is obtain the funds in the most honourable and, I don't know, discreet fashion. I don't know. What was his end game? I've only seen one video of him, and I haven't seen any other material. And that's the video that one of you guys posted onto the chat group. But what's his end game? Because he said, I'm not going to give it to you, basically. You have to work hard just as much as I have worked hard for this. But I will leave some clues in my videos, and it's for you to work out. He says it's all there, so long as you understand what you're doing. The clues are there, and you would eventually get to whatever it is that you're trying to get to.
If it's the Canadian group, I got into email contact with them last weekend. I was telling Carl this.
Yeah.
Long story short, their process is to return to the registrar the birth certificate. You have to put a form of words across the birth certificate, or more likely in our case, the BNF 01, the birth notification form, because they're talking in terms of live born record. So it's probably in our system, the notification form, back to the registrar who received it in the first place and put us in the ledger as the waif, the orphan.
Well, if Carl has been searching for this for so long, and even Carl's having issues, where does that?
Leslie, it's got to be the birth certificate. You've probably got to A for V across the birth certificate and send that back.
They use the UCC and the Stock Transfer Act in Canada. Now, I've equated the Stock Transfer Act in this country to the Financial Markets and Services Act.
Yeah.
And I think I found the section in there that relates to transferring securities, because that is what effectively we're trying to do. They've got they set up a security based on our existence.
Right.
We want to claim that security, and the registrar must be the key to this, because that registrar is the only form of government that set us up in the first place once they got the BNF form sent to them.
The thing about it as well, going on top of that with the BNF form, is the thing about it is the language on there is a foreign language also. So it destroys the document. So if they don't have a document to work with in the first place, then where are they at?
Yeah, but I thought you said that BNF has got a creditor debtor side.
Yeah. But the thing about it, what I'm saying to you is that how, you see, okay, I'm a man, I'm a spirit in a body. The thing about it, that comes with no document. So even if they made up the birth notification form, they still wrote the certain parts of it, and they've still, I think they've got a couple of boxes on there as well. So they've still got all that information, which is in legal sense. So you've got two forms of language on the document, like the copy of a certified entry. And the thing about it, that's what I discussed about the forename. When you look at the birth notification form, it states it's a forename. But when you go and actually look at the legal word forename, how they write it in legalese, and you go and look in their dictionary, you won't find the word. You'll find it as praenomen, which is the pre-name. So does that birth notification form now has another link? I don't know. It may have another link to the Vatican, because if they're writing in Latin, and people keep saying, everything reverts back to the Vatican because of the King John scenario.
Yeah.
The thing about it, if I'm taking my birth notification form to the Vatican, that's the document I do want to be taking, but it's the birth notification of what I want to get first. That's why I went out and bought myself like this, because it stops any contract and anybody coming and anybody doing anything to me. I can be broke as a mofo, but the thing about it, at the end of the day, they can't get anything off me, because they can't write to that name. They don't have a contract. Even if it goes to the court of law, they won't win anyhow. You heard the Talk Show Radio thing.
Yeah.
You see, so that's why I did that, because of the birth notification form is taking time to get.
What this?
Sorry, Leslie, but how are we going to obtain this? That's
you think about it. Go to the hospital and look in your mum's records. That's the thing about it. The thing about it, right, is there's certain things what's going on in my side, on a private side, in a certain sense, where with my birth certificate, the name of my mother is, her surname's on there and my father's surname's on there. So, and then what I found out is basically my mum and dad got married in a registry office in a certain sense. So there wasn't no real big thing or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So lots of stories behind it. But when I was asking, because they've got me down as the surname of my father, I'm saying to them, okay, look at this name in the records, because I'm looking at it as my mother was Margaret and my father's name, which was the married name. Now I'm saying to them, okay, look, because they're saying they can't find any information of my mother. So I'm saying to them now, okay, well, look, here's any information you need to know about. I've got her death certificate. I've got her birth certificate. I've got her marriage document. So ask me to help you, guide you through and assist you with any information you need that will help find that document for me. And that's where they're crashing, because they don't want to take any of that information and find, because if they do, that means they've got record of my mother to go, you see, to go and find where her records are, because I might be writing it to the name where I should be writing it to the name in a certain sense, you see, because that's my mum's surname. My mum's surname's. So if I write it to the name and ask them, okay, my mum was born as this, blah, 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 looking, because you remember, it's your born records. It's not your marriage records. It's the born records. So if you was born with your maiden name, that's why they want the maiden name.
What hospital was it that you went to, Carl?
I'm at
And you, Nikki?
I was my papers went to I think I was born in some hospital in.
So was I.
Angel.
Yeah,
they knocked that down.
Will be
and
that.
All the papers went to the nearest one. So I went. My papers are. I think my mum's papers are as well.
So, for example, if Nicky goes with his mum, he can look in his mum's records and find his birth notification in his mum's records.
Yeah, this is why I wanted to know what it looks like.
It ain't that easy, because I've got the birth records for my daughter, and I went searching through that, and there's nothing by way of.
Well, you should query that, because it should be there.
Yeah.
You should query that, because it should be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if Dave Senior, or the head of the power services over there, is writing in a letter, confiding in a letter to me to say that it's in my mother's records, we've got a leg to stand on.
Absolutely.
Because he already said that it's in the mother's. So, but if it isn't in your records for your daughter, then hold up a minute, what's going on? Because you're saying it's in the mother's records.
Yeah. This lot in Canada, they basically, their objective, for Fabian's information, from this email stuff that went on last weekend, they said that they are not, and I can understand it, they're not into telling people how to access the Seta KV Trust in its entirety. However...
Who was that with, Leslie? Sorry?
This is the Canadian lot that I put up for. They deal with current obligations. So they're happy to deal with mortgages, with all sorts of current scenarios that you may have.
Yeah.
They said the information to access the Seta KV Trust is in there, but you have to do the legwork yourself. They're not going to lead you to it. I think because of what everyone's saying, about the fact most people are delinquents, and if they got their hands on a large sum of money, they go mental with it.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So, you know, but I really do think, because they said in the Babylon system, whereas in God's law, your lineage is traced through your father's name, and we know that from a physical point of view. In the Babylon system, they mirror that, and they say that your heritage is traced through your mother's line.
In Africa, it's through your mother's. It's the mitochondria DNA. That's the powerhouse cell which only a woman has. So by rights, you could only trace your lineage through a woman, not through a man. Reason being, the chromosome of a man is XY. If you write it down in a piece of paper, I'll explain. The chromosome of a woman is an XX, which means the woman is more complete.
Yes.
We as men are seen as incomplete.
Yeah.
So you could only trace your lineage through a woman, not through a man.
The chromosomes, man.
Right.
That's why they want your DNA.
Yeah. But we know that goes to the Vatican. The DNA goes to the Vatican. We know that.
Yeah.
Why do you think they look at when they're doing all their archaeological, anthropological finds and digs? They tend to give the name. I mean, if you look at the, yes, it's generally a female. And when you look at the one, sorry,
look at the film Lucy.
Yeah, Lucy, exactly. That's I could watch that time and time again. But when you look at the what they call the the find where it goes back, I don't know, X amount of million of years.
Yeah.
And it was found in Africa. The funny thing was, normally when you find a particular skeleton in a particular region, you name it according to that region.
Yeah.
And you've got the Australopithecus, you've got the Peking man. You go to Africa, you find a skeleton, and then you call it Lucy.
That's the one.
You haven't even given it the name authentic to the region to which the bone was found. Yeah. But I don't want to again deviate. But the whole idea is that you should be going back through the matriarchal. Is that right?
Yeah.
Lineage, and not the patriarchal. Yeah. And that's very important.
This is why they don't want the father's name on the birth certificate.
So when you say that, Carl, they don't want the father. If I look at my birth certificate, I can see my father there, I can see my mother there. Obviously, it's in capital letters. My forenames are all in small, but they've done it from the father.
Yes, because the father's a fiction. That's why they write the name in capitals.
Right.
But the father's a debtor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The thing about it, the woman is the ship.
Yeah.
She carries the vessel. She carries the cargo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
She's also the settler of the trust, because she's the one that gave up the cargo, the res, to the system.
They only need her signature.
That's it. That's it.
But because remember, we came on the waters. She broke her waters, and we came on the waters. That's the Admiralty. And the thing about it, when we was born, they didn't allow us to touch Earth, so we didn't touch land.
Right.
We was on the water straight into the hands. We didn't touch the land.
Of the doctor.
They checked us in and checked us out straight away.
There you go.
Yeah.
So you saying, Carl, there's no point me going down to the hospital?
You can go down there and ask them. Go into the PALS office.
Sorry, say that again.
PALS, Personal and Liaison Services. PAL. Like the dog food.
Advisory Liaison Service.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Go in there, and when you go in, because if you go into, the new entrance.
No, I don't. No.
That's when you go up the hill on.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the entrance there. If you go in there, when you go in there, you see the front desk there. If you look over to the left, you'll see the PALS office behind the desk.
Okay.
If you go in there, there's an English woman in there. She's called Marion. She's the one who gave me the runaround, so don't talk to her.
You know what, Carl? It's really weird, but I know two different hospitals, and in both of those hospitals, the PALS office is on the left as you go in.
This is it.
How significant is that?
Crazy, isn't it?
Is that a Mason thing?
Probably.
I don't know what that is. That's weird. Left-hand path, see?
But yeah, if you go in there and if you're gonna go and see anyone, the guy who's the head of it is Dave.
Where would that be?
Dave. But I mean, I because of this letter, what Catherine West, the MP, wanted me to write as a formal letter of complaint, which I'm not going to do anyway.
Don't do it.
No. The thing about it, I looked up on who was the actual CEO of the hospital, because I was going to send a letter to the woman rather than her title.
Yeah.
And I think I was either Susan, but Caroline corrected me. It was Siobhan. She's the CEO of the hospital. So that's who I was going to write to, and not complain, but as Caroline and Leslie were saying, is put a claim in to say, because remember, I've already claimed my name.
Yeah.
I made a claim to that. I showed and that's what they call about the interest. I showed interest in the name, so I went and claimed it.
Yeah.
And that's what we've done, basically. We've gone and claimed our name because we've shown interest.
Why do you think it's important to go down there with your mother, though?
Because it's in her records.
And so because she's the one that settled the trust without putting any conditions on it, such that when you were 18, you come into full administration. She's the settler. And in private trust world, in equity, only the settler can change the terms of the trust. So if you haven't got her there to say it, or her power of attorney to let you say it, you can't change it.
So what I did, I wrote a letter, and I've got all the letters here and everything else, but I've got my father, my 2 brothers and my sister to sign it, to give me the consent to actually go into her records and get my documents. And they still haven't come. I mean, that's the problem. Because again, it's what Leslie just said. If the mother's around, then yeah, that's easier. Because the thing about it, it might be easier, but because of the names they're using from me, I'm using the surname of the father. Yeah. But as Leslie was saying, they might be going because they can't find her records at the hospital. She was born in, but I was born down here. But they can't find her records. So I'm saying, well, where are the records? That's the thing about it. They must know.
It's got to be somewhere. It wouldn't just get trashed, would it?
And there's well, the thing about it, the funny thing, what Marion said to me when I went into the hospital, Power Surgery, she says to me, well, it gets destroyed after 25 years.
Oh, so it's digitized.
Yes, so it must be on a microfiche.
But the thing about years is the coming of age in Old English.
Yes, but what I'm saying to you is that what was interesting with the video, what Leslie sent over, is to say that they said that at the age of 25, you become abandoned.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you've gone over 25 years, that means you're just an abandoned ship.
And you need a proxy to act with you to correct the master file.
So that's why you go to the Crown and claim yourself as the ship name, because it's the ship you're buying.
I mean, this chat did hint at the fact that if you've got a company, because one of the ones on the call said, oh, I've had this company off the shelf for a few years, and I never realised how valuable having that company was in this process.
And that's what you're doing. You're going buying the company off the shelf, because remember, if they've given you the birth certificate for a corporation and you're running around as a retail, then the thing about it, what's happening is that they haven't actually claimed it. But that's why you see only your initials on your bank card, because they can't put your full name on, because they know that one day you might actually turn up.
Right.
So if you turn up and your full name's on that card, whose name is that on the other card then, if your full name's on it? And who owns that? That's why they don't put the full name on your card. They'll only put your initials.
But that's because the government assumes benefit.
Just going to check that.
In your estate, isn't it?
Yes, the thing about it, because that's why they give you the account number. Yeah. But when you take the full title deed, we're taking the account number. So we're giving them account number to use, as Nikki said. Yes, it might not be the account number of our whatever, but it's an account number what we're actually giving them. When we went in the first place with our birth certificate, they created the account for us and they gave us an account number.
Yeah.
So that doesn't belong to me.
Yeah.
So who does that belong to? That's the question. And if they know that I've been trading as a company from birth under a personal retail account, which is still a business account, then who does that account really belong to?
But Carl, could it not be maybe that the card hasn't got the room?
No, I've written to the bank and I've talked to the bank manager and said, hold up, wait a minute, why can't I even have my full name on the bank card? And plus, my sister-in-law is a bank manager.
Okay.
You see? And that's the thing about it. Basically, I don't even want to get her involved with my brother. But the main thing she said to me, what really stood out to me out of the whole thing and over all the time, is that there are loopholes. That's it. That's all I need to know. There's once I hear that word, then I know it's all skullduggery, basically. Yeah. Once you hear the word loophole, you know there's something fishy going on. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if this has any significance, but I'm trying to get some. I'm trying to get my Jamaican passport and citizenship, and not just for me, but for my children. And I went to I had to go to the Jamaican High Commission so they have to see you in person. You can't. There's no way you'll get a passport or a citizenship unless you actually go there. So they just see you in person. So that's one of the criteria that they have to go through.
Yeah.
And I produced my mother's birth certificate, which she got back in Jamaica.
Right.
In Kingston, which I have here. That's really old and it's really faint. And my mum, trying to keep it together, she sellotaped it. And it looks a bit scruffy.
Yeah.
But you can see the information on there. My mum's born in 1938. You can see the information on there. However, High Commission said, no, we can't accept this. And I had to pay 110 US to get up to date, if you like. It was all a money. So just a money thing at the end of the day, because they could have taken the information off the birth, as old and as scruffy as it looked. Everything was on there.
That's it.
And they basically told me I had to update it, and I had to pay 110 US to get.
Us Jamaicans, boy, we don't mess about. Us Jamaicans.
and so the new certificate, it looks totally different. You know, I know you've got, well, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 types. I've got the old birth certificate, the long one.
Yeah.
I know one's coming in a slightly
portrait landscape.
Portrait. So this one is in a portrait, and the number, you know, you've got the alphanumeric characters in the top left-hand corner.
Yeah, that's the security number.
The security number, yeah. That number is totally different on the new, updated.
Yeah.
Now you understand. That's what I was saying to you. Every birth certificate you order is a shared document.
Yeah, that's right.
It's a security share document. So when you could order 10 birth certificates, Fabian, and every one of them numbers will be different.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they will come from a different resource company. What's bringing natural resources into that account.
Right.
That's why that's why remember when we looked up that video and the guy had DICOM.
Right.
I went straight onto Google, typed in DICOM, saw that it was a resource company and posted it.
Right.
Because that's where his resources will be coming from to go into probably his birth notification form, which they don't want us to have. That's storing all of our assets. Because
say that again, Carl. Say that again.
That's why when all the natural resources come in,
yeah,
it's going into our birth notification form.
Right.
But the birth notification form has been given to the birth registrar, the perinatal clinic, and the health pricing office.
Right.
So the only two things the birth certificate is used for is education and hospital. That's it.
Right.
That's why it's given to the perinatal and the health pricing.
But, you know, I'm wondering if this bond, the stocks on being traded isn't a red herring, because what we do know is that to raise money, the government goes on the bond market, and to do that, they have to issue a prospectus. And I found a particular clause at I think it was section 82 of the Financial Markets and Services Act, that exempts, in the interest of national security, it exempts in the public interest the requirement to disclose the securities that make up the prospectus of the bond that the government's issuing. So it strikes me that since the government is getting all its finance from the money markets through raising bonds that they have to raise a prospectus for, but they're exempted from listing all of us as the actual securities by that Financial Market Services Act, surely that's a clue to the fact that all these other companies that we think, when we enter our numbers into Fidelity.com and it turfs up some energy company in California, I think that's a red herring. I think it only relates to government bonds.
Yeah, I mean, like the thing about it, as I said, it's like it's that security document. They probably just got bundles of them from different resource companies, but them resource companies. Because remember, whatever comes out the earth, everybody has to get a percentage of it.
Yeah,
everybody. So you can have 10 different birth certificates with different letters at the beginning of different numbers. And that's going to be a different 10 different companies, but they're all made off that one birth notification number, because the birth notification number is what created that security instrument in the first place. Because they have to get the information from somewhere to put on a birth certificate. So they take that birth notification form, they do a copy of it, they lift it, they stamp it on a security instrument. That's why it's in a box.
And that goes in the National Ledger. That's what.
Yeah, you're not present on that security. You are not present on that security instrument because it takes you off the page. That's why the stamp isn't in the box with you. It's outside of the box.
But on the BNF, It hasn't got boxes, has it?
No, that's the thing.
Right. So that's the real McCoy. Yeah.
But have you seen the BNF, Leslie?
Yeah, I've got a clean copy of it.
Yeah, this is what I need to see.
I've got a blank copy of it.
You've lost me, Carl. You've lost me. I thought you couldn't get a copy. When you say you've got a copy.
No, listen. I can't get my copy from my mum, but I've got a blank copy of the document, and I've got the manual book, what the midwife actually fills out. She has to go by the protocol of the manual. So the manual, because when I found the first one, basically it was all blacked out. The certain areas, like the name, the surname, and something else was blacked out. I'll post it up anyway. It was blacked out. So I didn't know what was there. So I went and found the manual, and then in the manual actually shows you each section and how to fill it out. So the thing about it, they forgot to black out that section in the manual. So I just looked at the form, what was blacked out, looked in the manual to see what it was, and I saw the game. The game was that the forenames and the surnames were in completely different locations. And they've taken that, put them two together, created that new name, put a Crown copyright on it, gave it to you as a document for you to run around with as a legal entity, which is a warning because it's just a receipt. Remember, it's called a certified copy of an entry is just a receipt because it's something that was made as an entry. So what was the entry? That's my question. So the birth notification form must be the entry.
And that enters you into the ledger that the government keeps of
this
securities.
Because when you look at the birth notification form itself, it actually looks like a ledger. You got all the different information on the left-hand side, which is the debtor. The only thing on the right-hand side is the stamp from the registrar, which is your registration date for the Christian name.
Yeah.
And that's the creditor.
Yeah.
So the birth notification form is actually a ledger form itself.
Interesting.
Nikki, you come down, didn't you? I think Nikki's seen it.
No, I was.
You haven't seen it. Okay, when you come down next.
Carl, you're going to Dave's tomorrow, yeah?
You going to Dave? I'll bring it.
Yeah. Caroline, are you going to Dave's tomorrow?
I think so. Yeah. Well, I don't know what time. When?
After 3 p.m.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fine for me because I'm filming, so I'll finish about midday anyway.
What's happening at Dave's tomorrow?
It's his father who passed away last year, so he's just having a little get together for
the occasion. I didn't know what it was.
It's just remembrance.
Leslie, come down.
Well, if you can bring it, Carl, that'd be nice just to have a look anyway.
That's cool. Because I tried to take a picture on my phone, but my phone's rubbish, man.
All right, guys, I'm going to have to shoot off here, but much thanks.
Blessings.
Yes, bless.
Caroline, we'll talk here.
Yeah, did you understand it? Did you get it?
Yeah, I understood everything that was being said. It's just, for me, it's just, I was listening for that golden process to say, yep, we know exactly what we need to do. We're just scared to do it or something. But
not yet.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, but I understand completely. I've known about the application for the trust process for a while, Caroline. As you know, we looked into it a few years ago, and but the things that everyone's saying that they need to have in check. I mean, I've been ready for that money since the day I heard about it, so I'm not worried in that sense. You know what I mean? So I do wish that the process is conquered.
I hope the same, man. I hope the same.
We're on the path.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The thing about it, every day there's another piece of information, and I'm glad that everybody on here is here because it's constructive people talking about and allowing each other to think.
Yeah.
That's the most important. They don't want us to think.
You know, I've been telling you about that my niece, her partner, who has a friend who did manage to walk the path, as it were.
Yeah.
But he still can't get a hold of him. That's the message that I just received. Because I can't get a hold of him unless I go through this particular person, and he's saying that he can't at the moment get a hold of him. So We'll just have to go by what Nicky's
That man with the Rolls Royce you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah. Or whatever luxury car he had. I don't know, but yeah.
The Bentley or whatever.
The thing is, once you achieve this, you'll be sworn to secrecy under the Official Secrets Act, so you can't talk to anybody else anyway. That's
well, this is what I say. This is what me and Caroline was talking about. We were saying maybe we have to sign a confidentiality agreement or something.
You would, definitely. I've heard that.
This is really important. This is what I'm talking. It's a dangerous thing we're playing with, man.
Yeah, and we've got to know the full of it first.
You see.
Yeah, I think I'm going to sign up with that Canadian group, and I'm going to get their information and see what that gives us, because we'd have to translate it into the UK jurisdiction.
Yeah.
But they're doing it. They're doing it using the UCC and the Security Transfer Act, and they're achieving it with mortgages, with anything.
Yeah.
So
they're probably going through the birth certificate, which they're doing, and signing it off as accepted for value in a certain respect.
They're getting it notarized as a notification of interest in the security, and they're returning it to the registrar.
That's it, because they're showing interest. The thing about it, if they haven't bought themselves as a company,
that's right.
Yeah, they're only showing interest.
Yeah, but they're still.
We've actually bought it and actually have it now, so we showed the interest to actually claim it back itself, because nobody's making claim to it.
Yeah.
So just to say all the best, guys. Yeah.
No worries.
And
Take care,
thank
brother.
you for sharing.
Take care.
It's really appreciated.
Cheers,
Take care.
Take care. Bye.
All right. Bye. All right.
Interesting. Thank you again, Nikki. Thank you again, Fabian, for this information, man. It's good. This is what I like, because it allows all of us to think. There's somebody bringing we're bringing information to the table.
Yeah.
You know, and it allows us to think and discuss it as well. Yeah. I want people to bring it to me because I need to challenge what I've found as well.
Yeah.
You know, so anything what comes forward to me, I have to put it up against what I found. That's my ace card in a certain respect. So this is your ace card in a certain respect.
I've got a practical question that I need to ask if anyone knows the answer to, and that is I've got to transfer some money over to Canada. Does anyone know a free way of doing that?
I don't know if you get free anymore. I don't know really.
Okay. I just got what
was that you said?
I've got to join this group. I've got to pay equivalent of $300 over to someone in Canada into his bank.
Promissory note?
Do what?
Can you give him a promissory note?
No, they want the old fiat.
Oh, okay.
I can take silver.
You just want to pay the 300 without any added
fees. That's it. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, Leslie. If you get the information, we'll all chip in to get.
No worries. It's only 238 quid, and it's worth it to me. Do you know what I mean?
Can't you do a BACS transfer?
Yeah, but that costs money. It's about 25 quid.
What's the cheapest way at the moment on the market that you know?
What's that?
The cheapest way of paying, fee of course. What is the cheapest way at the moment?
Send them a check.
Sorry?
Send them a check.
It don't work though, because it's like on an English bank account, and to do it through my bank account, it costs 25 quid BACS fee.
Can't you do it on PayPal?
No, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But apparently, there's some limit on transferring across.
What about SumUp?
Who? SumUp.
SumUp. SUMUP.
Yeah. I'll have a look.
I think I know. You said they only accept cash.
Well, they want it into their bank account.
So why don't you just use a credit card and just...
I haven't got a credit card.
Because if you use SumUp, you can send an invoice over to them or whatever. They can invoice you, and then you can just pay the invoice.
Okay.
That's what SumUp's doing. Because I've got a SumUp card reader, but they've sent an email to me saying about this, what I'm talking about, but I haven't actually looked into it. But if you talk to them guys in Canada to ask them if they've got the SumUp or whatever, you might be able to do a transfer via the invoice or whatever.
Okay, I'll have a look. Thanks. Nice one. Sorry to divert.
No, that's cool.
Right.
All right.
Nick, is there anything else that you can tell us?
I'm bowing out as well, you know.
Oh, cheers, Nick.
Yeah, so, if I get any more information...
Yeah, Nick, let's link. We'll talk tomorrow, man, as well.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm going to edit that thing, and I'll send I'll put it on the group chat. so
nice.
everyone can like listen to it and so forth.
That'd be good.
All right, you guys take it easy, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, bless.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, I think we're all at stalemate now.
Do what?
We're all at stalemate now.
Well, no, we got some clues. I mean, it's not what I thought it was going to be. Obviously, it's fraught with problems, but it just means that we've got to keep looking, innit?
Yeah,
absolutely.
We'll get there.
I'm going to head down to
see if you can
get
I'll just see what it probably be a blank, to be honest, but
but that's not the important thing. The important thing is that we're going in there and we're making them realize that we know about it. Right. That's the important thing, because if you get 1,000 people walking through the door asking for the same document, they don't have a leg to stand on. At least we're showing them that we know about it now.
Flags the system, though. They could hide it even deeper.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They could kind of shovel it even deeper.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about it. Well, I don't have no identification to show anybody who I am.
Right.
Because I'm not going to give you the birth certificate. And the thing about it, the only thing you're going to get off me is the title deed. That's it. If you want if they want identification off me, then you have to write a warrant letter to me to take to the hospital to say to them, if they don't give me that identification, then whoever wants that can do whatever they want.
Could be worth tripping across them, couldn't it? Just for that purpose.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because if the police come to you, for example, or if somebody comes to you and they want to take you to court or do whatever, then basically you're saying, okay, you need ID from me. The way you're writing the name is the company name.
Mm.
So here's the title deed for the company. So you must be looking for that. At the end of the day, if you are looking for that, where's the contract?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you need ID from me who owns it, then you're going to have to write a letter for me to go to the hospital to say you need a copy of my birth notification form so I can identify myself. Now it's up to the police or whoever to write you that letter. They're not going to write you the letter.
That's right. Yeah.
They win, they lose. I'm not saying it's a lose or win game, but they have no leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Just going down to that one contract law. It has to be made between two of the same kind.
That's right.
Now, if my company is dormant, then how can there be a contract with that? There can't be.
Yeah.
So who's your contract with?
I mean, that's what I like so much about it, because it flicks your mind into what the fuck's been going on all these years.
Mm.
You know?
Totally.
Yeah.
Talking about the company being dormant then, Carl, I received an activation code for corporation tax.
Okay, brilliant.
Are you saying that I need to return it saying the company is dormant?
Is that the CTG 41 form? It says it on the bottom left-hand corner.
No. I mean, it's not a form, it's a notification saying there's an activation code for
it's an activation code. No, the activation, is that from Company's House?
HMRC.
You look in it, I don't want them to see me.
No, don't worry, it's not doing booth though.
Are you talking? Can you hear my voice?
Yeah, we can hear you. Just mute the mic, Percy.
It's on HMRC.
Yeah, if it's from HMRC, then basically anything from HMRC is usually just, that might be the account number to get you into your account at HMRC. But if you've sent the CTG 41 back, which is the...
I haven't even received that yet. I haven't received that form yet.
Okay, cool. So that might be an activation code to actually get something sent to you. Did you make the company dormant straight away?
Yes.
Okay, so if the company's dormant straight away, then that might be your activation code for if you want the company to trade.
Right.
You see, so you can go onto their website and use that activation code to get into your account to cancel anything or whatever. But the main thing you want to do, the main thing really is the CTG 41. Did you get yours, Fabian?
Yeah.
And
I never told them what happened, Carl. Obviously, you know. What I did when I received mine, I rang them up and I said, right, what does one have to do to make this dormant? I just wanted to see what they say. And the woman on the phone says, what did she say? She said, right, what's your name? She asked me a few basic details. I gave her that. She then told me to hold on the line. She went obviously to speak to someone. She came back on the line. She says, right, we can do that here at this end for you, but you must notify Companies House. When are you going to do that? I said, oh, I'll do it sometime this week. She says, what date? I said, oh, I'll do it at the end of the week. And she says, okay, fine. And that's how we left it. And I then rang Carl and I told Carl what I did. And anyway, so I followed what you guys did, what Carl told me to do, which is cross it out and write dormant and sign it and date it and whatever. And then recorded delivery. But I obviously scanned it and took a copy first, blah, blah, blah. But it was strange the way this conversation went with this woman, because it was like she knew what I was trying to do. Or at least she went to see someone, which she kept me on the phone. And it was if I'm only feeling the vibe. It was as if she knew this is something that's probably done time and time again. And so she had to go and see someone and say, this is what he wants to do. How do you want to respond or deal with it? And then she came back and said, have you notified Companies House? I said, no, not yet. She says, are you going to make that dormant? I said, yeah, I'll do it sometime. She goes, no, are you going to do it sometime this week? And I said, yeah, I'll do it sometime this week. She says, what date? So I said, right, maybe the end of the week. And we just left it like that.
They want to put it on their records, that's why.
Yeah, so Carl says to me, look, the HMRC and Companies House, although they might work together, they're two separate entities.
Totally.
And it was like she was hoping that me making the Companies House, me notifying Companies House of me making the tax, the UTR number dormant, she wanted me to also make the company dormant. In effect, it would be back. I don't know what would happen if you make the company dormant. What would happen, Carl? Do you know what's the significance?
Well, the company can never be made dormant. You can make it dormant to do business, to stop trading with any other company.
Yes.
Right. So you can make it dormant in that sense, but you can't make it dormant at Companies House, because Companies House will always be active, because it has to have the natural resources have to go somewhere.
Right. Okay.
Now, hang on a minute, Carl.
Sure.
Mine is dormant.
Yes. No, but that's what I'm saying. Yours is dormant. Everybody's is dormant. But if you go to the bank guy, because when I went to the bank guy, because I said to the guy, how can I open up an account when my company's dormant? And he turned around to me and said to me, no, your company isn't dormant. Your company is always active at Companies House.
Right.
It might be dormant to other business entities who want to try and do business with you, but it'll always be dormant. It will always be dormant at Companies House. I mean, it will always be active, because you've got to go in there and you've got to do your confirmation statement and you've got to do your filing accounts. Even though your filing accounts is a dormant company, which is you still got to let them know. Yeah. Because remember, it goes back to the SES3KV Trust, the Act. If you go missing for a period of 7 years, you're presumed dead. So if you leave your company stagnation for 7 years and you don't go into Companies House to clarify and confirm that it's still up and running, then they can presume you're dead. So they can cancel your company.
Yeah.
So they have to keep it
saying it's always open to the private, but it's closed to the public.
The only private it's open to is you and Companies House. That's it.
Yeah.
You see? No one else can do business with you unless you choose to do trading and contracts with that other company. That's why, again, the letters will come in uppercase and lowercase from different companies, because they're just sending you a promotional letter to do business with you so they can get you into contract.
I have a question.
I couldn't say that because an accountant contacted me.
But sorry, just to go back to your thing about the activation code, Mikey. Because of the activation code, the thing about it, once you've done this and once you know that, okay, everything's dormant, everything's safe, there's no problem with phoning up HMRC and actually talking to them and discussing what's the activation code for. Because they're the professionals in a certain sense. It's good to talk to them and just have a word and see what they're saying. I'm happy to discuss, because remember, I'm not too sure what activation code you've got or what document you've got. So I can't make any assumptions into what to do on that. Do you see?
Yeah.
So but the only activation code I knew is that when I wanted to get into the gateway to Companies House, you have to have that activation code where you can do your filing accounts or your a confirmation statement.
Yeah.
What did you say about accountant, Mikey?
Sorry?
What did you say about your accountant?
One of the things, I received a letter from an accountant. I'm obviously looking for business.
Of course, they will do.
Yeah.
But how is it addressed to you?
It just says, dear sirs.
No, was it your full name in capitals?
No. It just says, dear sir.
No, I mean, like, how was the envelope written to you?
Oh, right, the envelope.
Did you get it in the mail?
Yeah.
So
hang on, the envelope. Hang on a minute, I've got the envelope.
Sorry.
Oh, yes, it's my full name in all caps.
All capitals.
Yeah.
Is that with it limited at the end of it?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, basically what companies are doing, they go onto Companies House and they look to see what new companies are in the area, and then they'll write to you just for business.
Yeah.
So they will write to the company name because it's a company name. So if your name's in uppercase letters underneath it, they're writing to you as a director. But if your name isn't there on uppercase and lowercase, they don't know who the director is, and they're just writing to the company basically for contract.
But they're just fishing for business, which is fair enough.
Of course, which is cool.
Question for Caroline: were you able to get an appointment for the
bank
for your business account?
Yeah.
Is that
in October?
It's not in October.
I'm going to be buying the Christmas tree.
That's the earliest they can give me.
Is that what they said?
That's the earliest, and that's a cancellation. Yeah.
Do you mind me asking who is it with? Which bank?
No, that's with Barclays.
Mine one is in August.
Who is?
Barclays.
Ooh. Yeah.
See, the thing I would suggest as well, right, with you guys, because I'm with Barclays as well, but the thing about it, if Barclays is owned or getting their funding from the Bank of England, which is the fiat currency, what I was saying to Caroline is, if we use Barclays and whatever, all these different banks to go in and talk to the business team, because remember, we are the one who's giving them the business.
Yeah.
So we could go in and talk to them and get all the information we need to, and then go to the Royal Bank of Scotland or NatWest or Coutts and bank with the.
Do you think we'll be able to go to Coutts?
Of course, because you've got the resources.
Yeah, because we've got that paper. But without that paper, do you think we'll be able to go to Coutts?
No.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because they ask for about 250,000 minimum account, don't they?
Yeah.
But if you've got this and the deed,
that's it.
But are you saying that that's all you need? And then, of course, you don't need a £250,000 to set up.
Yeah, because if they want identification, you're giving them the title deed. If they want other identification, like a birth certificate, then it comes back to the same point what I was making earlier on. Ask them to write you a letter to the hospital to get your birth notification so you can give them the case number.
Right.
Because you can't give them the birth certificate because that's just another security instrument from somebody else.
Yeah.
And it doesn't belong to you.
Yeah.
Your account number is like your security instrument. It's a sealed instrument. So you're giving them the privilege to actually see what's in there. That's what I think Nikki was talking about, the broker. If the broker looks in there and looks at it, he can rob you blind straight away.
I don't see how. How can he rob you blind? It's in your name.
Because it's the share market. All your assets will be on the shares. So he can go in and tap into your shares because you've given him access to the share account.
This is why that Canadian lot use a securities intermediary.
This is it.
Yeah.
And that's why I was talking about a conveyancer, Caroline. The conveyancer would transfer the deeds.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But look, I've got to shoot off because I've got lots of editing to do. I've been shooting over the last couple of days, and I've got to get this editing done for a couple of schools and stuff. So, because they've got to do their online tutorials. So, no disrespect, it's quite a bit of editing as well. Okay. I'm glad I made the meeting though, and thank you, Fabian. Thank you, Leslie. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Mikey. If anything, I'm on WhatsApp or whatever. Or if anybody wants to call and talk, by all means, I'm happy to talk.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
And I'll see you tomorrow, Caroline. I'll probably see you tomorrow. Leslie,
If I can take a copy, please, and send it to me.
Yes.
If I can, I'll just post it on the WhatsApp group as a file. But if I need emails, I'll put it on the WhatsApp group to send me emails. Yeah. But I'll send it to Carl and Caroline because I think I've got Nick's address as well.
Yeah.
So I can send them copies.
That's cool. Yeah. But anyway, listen. Keep safe, and I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Cheers. Bye.
Night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
I'm not here to follow false idols. This is my lane, so it's my recital. I'm giving you straight truth, not the Bible. I stand here alone, that's the first truth, it's vital. My other side's in peace, a bitch, it's spiteful. Female, feminine, delightful, raised by a woman. My sister, I love you. You always used to tell me that there's no one above you. You can choose your friends, but not your family. That's okay, cause others just adapt to me. Because I'm clothed in the truth, I got proof from the Father. I just went and discovered the other. Gold chain round your neck, nothing to me. Diamonds in your teeth, nothing to me. You could be rolling 22s, nothing to me. Down with the truth, now that's something to me. Gold chain round your neck, nothing to me. Diamonds in your teeth, nothing to me. You could be rolling 22s, nothing to me. You're listening. Down with the truth, now that's something to me. Know thyself, seek and ye shall